So, Doug, are you opening it up?
No, you are. You go ahead. I'll let you do such a better job.
All right. Well, welcome to AY After Hours. Today, Doug and I have two special guests from our factory. We have Davey White and Terry Frost, and they're going to just sit down with us and talk about what they do and help us learn a little bit more about AY.
Yeah. So just give us, Davey and Terry, just give us an idea as far as what you do here at AY.
Well, I run a taunt shop.
Okay.
They put me there 20 years ago and told me I'd be there 2 years training, and apparently I haven't picked it up yet, or I'm good at what I do. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
So let's assume that nobody knows what a ton shop is. Am I saying that right?
it's a big German machine. It's got 6 different heads that come in from the side, and the robot picks up the part, loads it, and then it goes through the cycles and comes out, and I test it, assemble it, and pack it, and just keep doing that all day.
So from beginning to end.
Yep.
And what types of, is there any types of products, different types of products that, specifically for that machine?
I run a lot of iron swivels for Albia,
Okay.
and then I run a lot of meter connections, and then I run some 3/4 combination couplings for Tennessee.
Okay.
A lot of stuff like that.
So both water and gas combined. Okay.
So you said 20 years. Have you been doing that the whole time, or how long have you been at AY?
I've been here a little over 24 years.
Okay.
Started on a fork truck, then I was a tester, and I got laid off. So when I came back, I bid on machining, and been there ever since.
Training ever since.
Yep. Still learning.
Yeah. Terry, how about you?
I run the pack nut machine, which is, I don't know, you're probably familiar with it right there. There's some pack nuts right there, but I run that all day. When I first started, I've been here 10 years, 10 years in May. I hated the pack nut, absolutely hated it. Had no desire to ever run it because it was an incentive job and I wasn't good at it.
Yep.
So everybody said, boy, you really need to stay on that job. It's a really good job. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Right.
It's a very fast-paced, dealing with a lot of adjustments and offsets. But I stayed on it for a year, and then I actually started liking it. And then I really started loving it and realized this is super easy.
Yeah.
Well, you master things, here. You do them so much every day. And then I got to realize, wow, there's a lot of pack nuts that we make.
Right.
They go on everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been on the pack nut machine since you started?
No, I've been 715, which is that's angle meter. But there's just other cells. I've been everywhere.
Okay.
Literally.
Yep.
I've been on almost every machine.
So when you talk about 715, just so for people out there, those are the different cells.
Yes,
throughout our
that's the number of the cell.
manufacturing facility. Right.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome though. Everything in here, I like working here because you're making something that everybody in the world uses. Everybody has to use it.
Yep.
And if they don't use it, they're in a third world country. They don't have water.
Right.
Or gas.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool. I take a lot of pride in what we build here. I know Davey does as well, because we supply what the world needs.
Sure.
And they don't even know they need
They
it.
don't even. They take it. A lot of them take it for granted, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was shut off, you'd know right away.
The first
where-
one knows. Sure.
Yeah.
What amazes me is where do all the product go?
Yeah.
I've run millions of meter connections since
Yeah.
I've been here, and you just wonder where they all go.
Yeah.
I've never replaced one at my house, so
Right?
there must be a lot of construction.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
construction, a lot of repair, and it's not slowing down any, as you both know.
Right.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, and infrastructure is such a hot topic. So I can see why you take pride in knowing that you're part of that, part of something that, serves our communities.
And we all are. Everybody in the whole company, whether you're on the floor or you're in the office, are doing what you guys are doing right now. This is all. We all support the same goal.
So, okay, so Dave, you said 20 years. Terry, you said 10.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you do before you came to AY?
I pretty much only worked 4 jobs in my whole life. It was only when I was 14 I did janitorial, and then I worked at Eagle Window and Door, and then Leggett and Platt, and then here. But all that time I was forced to do construction my whole life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad made me pretty much do it every day.
Yeah.
So it was that was my home job.
I was going to say around here, kind of on the side type of thing.
Yeah, all the time.
Sure. Sure.
But I
Nice.
loved all of it.
I was gonna say the nice thing about that is you pick up a lot of useful skills.
Yeah, even if
when
you
do
didn't want to
that.
know them.
Right.
Yeah,
you still get to
even
know
like
'em.
Owning a home, I'm sure there's tons of
Oh, yeah.
things that you've learned along the way that now you don't have to pay somebody to do. You can just.
I never have. That was our
do it
whole motto
yourself.
in our family.
You
You don't pay anybody to do anything. You do
Yep.
it yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I had
that's
to learn
awesome.
a lot.
Yeah. And quick, I bet.
I
Yeah,
also
praise
got
God for
the-
YouTube now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also got to work at Allen Bradley. And the reason I bring that up is because Allen Bradley is I built motor control centers,
Yeah.
and that's what powers my Tonshoff out there is the same type of stuff
Oh,
I
really?
built
Is that
at
right?
Allen
Is it?
Bradley.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's kind of
Where
funny.
was that at?
Richland Center, Wisconsin.
Okay. And so where's that in Wisconsin as far as?
It's about an hour north on Highway 80 from Platteville.
Okay.
My computer's Alan Bradley out there. The screen, that says Alan Bradley on it too.
Up in Richland Center, we built motor control centers, and that's what powers airports and all kinds of stuff. So
And now your
yeah.
Tonshoff is powered
Yep.
by that.
I was amazed when I came here.
Maybe you
big-
built it.
Big German machine,
Yeah.
and I got an Allen Bradley motor control center.
Sure.
That was kind of cool.
So outside of AY McDonald, we also like to learn a little bit about our guests and their family life and what they do like to do outside. So, or outside of the work. So, kind of what's your hobbies and so forth, family life, that sort of thing.
I'm old.
You ain't that old.
I got 6 grandchildren, so they keep me busy. Busy in the Free and Accepted Masons, which she did an article on. I've been in the Grand Lodge for 27 years there, so I do a lot of work for, charitable work in the state of Wisconsin. In fact, yesterday I drove 5 hours north to speak at a banquet for a friend of mine who got diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and I got home at 2 o'clock this morning and then came to work. So
Oh my
Attaboy.
goodness.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't sound old.
No.
It sounds
I know,
like
right?
High energy to
Uh-uh.
me.
other than that, I like hunting.
Yeah.
Love riding my motorcycle, but mostly I like playing with my grandkids. So
What do you hunt?
Yeah.
deer mostly. I like bow hunting. It's peaceful out there. You get away from all the rush of society and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
stress of everything. You just sit out there and watch the birds and the squirrels, and very seldom do I even shoot at a deer.
Yeah.
See, I love to pheasant hunt with my dad.
Really?
And I went deer hunting once, and it is like night and day. Pheasant hunting, you're working with the dogs, you're always on the move. Usually you shoot a fair amount. Deer hunting, I don't know if I have the patience.
I have them.
I saw one deer, and it was like a baby. Like, I can't shoot that thing.
Yeah.
I have them right underneath me where I could jump on them, and I don't even pick up my bow or my gun, and I just sit there and enjoy them.
Yeah.
So are all 6 grandkids around in the area then?
All but one's up in Neenah.
Okay.
I'm getting her this weekend for 4 days, so
Wow.
that's going to be great.
Super
She's a year and a
grandpa.
That's
half.
that is. I was going to say, wow. Yeah, very busy. That's great. Terry, what about you?
I'm kind of in the same boat as Davey. I have, one granddaughter right now, and then I have another one on the way any day. So I'll be grandpa 2 times. I'm pretty super jacked up about that.
Yeah.
I love to just be with family and help people.
Yeah.
That's my passion and my pastime. Whatever I do, I don't know. Every day is awesome. So
Sure.
I just celebrate every day and do whatever I can to help anybody, and that's what I love to do.
Good. You follow up on your construction? So do you still do
Oh yeah,
some construction stuff, do you?
I do. A lot of people, you can go anywhere in the world and it seems like you run into people that always need help, and it's usually on their house.
Yep.
So I like to go to people's houses and just fix stuff for them, and some are really big projects, some are small, and it's just fun.
Sure.
Mental note.
Yeah. No kidding.
When something
Right.
Call
breaks,
Terry.
Yeah.
get Terry's cell phone number.
Well, I get that. You go to Menards. I go to Menards a lot. I'm there I used to be there almost every day until the prices went through the roof. But I mean, I go there a lot, and people just come up. I just start talking to whoever, next to me, and next thing you know, I'm at their house putting a window in. And it's like, how did I get here?
If anybody doesn't know Terry, that doesn't surprise you. I mean, that just doesn't surprise you.
It's just awesome though,
Yeah.
because who wouldn't want to help somebody? Especially I usually run into a lot of widows, and your heart just goes out to them because they don't, I
Sure.
don't know if they're kids, if they have kids or whatever. You just want to help them
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect segue into my Terry story. So The first time I met Terry, I'm over in the Innovation Center normally, and I came over to the main office for a meeting, and when I leave, it is torrential downpour. I mean, I am talking rain that you just can't even hardly believe. So I'm just standing in the entryway trying to decide how wet I want to get, if I'm going to wait it out. And I was standing there for a little bit, and Terry was outside, I think, reading your book.
Yeah, I was
on
reading
the
the
bench.
Bible sitting on the bench.
And I went back inside to see if anyone had an umbrella. Nobody had one. I come back out, and Terry is standing there with the huge umbrella that he took out of the picnic table that, you know, covers a whole entire picnic table. And he's like, I can walk you to your car. So he proceeded to walk me to my car, and I was just, like, awestruck at how truly sweet of a gesture that was. So that's my first Terry encounter. So you saying that doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, I commend you both. I mean, I think it's fantastic that outside of work, you guys obviously spend time helping others, and that's, I think I've learned myself that that's not only what that's what forms this company. It really does.
Oh yeah,
it's a big part of that. So.
And then my
great.
Davey story. So the first time I met Davey, and kind of in the theme of giving back too, we ended up on the culture team together. So AY did roundtables with coworkers and said, what are some things culturally we could change at the company? And so then this team had to come together and try to address all those things, which was not an easy task. But I got to know you a lot better on that team as well. So why did you join that team, and what did you think about it?
Originally, I wasn't going to sign up for it. And then I thought, well, if you aren't part of the solution, then you're part of the problem.
That's right.
So I signed up for it, and I thought it was a great experience.
Me too.
It was a time to come together. You can separate the union from the company and just everybody come together and address and try to make it a better working environment for everybody. And that's what's great about this company is everybody gives and takes for the benefit of the customer, and that's really what we're all about. It truly, people talk about the family atmosphere here. There truly is a family atmosphere here, and the culture team was great. I mean, I got to know you and Paula and Christy, and Doug came in and sat with us, Chad, John Schmidt. It's nice to get to know your coworkers. Sure. So
I love that.
I thought it was a great experience.
Yeah, I love that because sometimes even in your everyday work, you kind of get in your little bubbles of who you normally hang with at work and who you interact with, and that just threw us all together, foundry, factory, office. So I thought that was a really interesting experience.
Yeah, that's great.
I seen Doug walk across the catwalk up there for years and didn't know him, but after that I got to know him better. So
Yep, that's right. So when you look back at your 20 years and your 10 years, 24 years, but over many years of experience here at AY, what's the biggest or most important thing that you've learned while here at AY McDonald? And Terry, I'll let you lead this one off since we've always had Dave be the one to answer the question first and put him in the hot seat.
What was the question?
What's the most important thing that you've learned, regardless of what it factors in, but the most important thing that you've learned while here at AY McDonald?
That not all companies are selfish, greedy people.
Good.
Not all companies are just out for themselves in the bottom dollar. There's actually a caring person who owns this company, or there's someone that actually, I guess, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm from Dubuque.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I've worked a couple different places, and they were okay, but I'm here. I didn't get fired from these other jobs. I left those other jobs, and then I find a home here. And I see that from a lot of other people. These younger kids coming in, they say the same thing, and they're like, well, this place is pretty nice. Everybody here is really nice. All shocked.
Yeah.
Because the workforce out there, not every place is great.
Right.
Not saying every place is horrible either.
Sure.
But the thing that I've learned the most is I appreciate my job here. I don't know how to say it. I don't have to be here, just like none of us have to be here. But we choose to come here, and why do you choose to come here? Because this is a great place to work. Mm. It's bottom line. Like Davey was saying, it's this is a family organization. I love that it's a family-owned company.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge for me. And on top of it, that we build something that everybody uses. So there's just a whole lot of good in the whole company.
Sure.
The atmosphere and the new people coming in. What was I don't even know what the question was.
What's the most important thing that you learned?
I think you answered it spot on about.
Yeah.
The most important thing is family to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously the Lord and then the family, but that's what He wants, is us to be a family. It's why we're all adopted in. But anyway, it's just awesome working here. I just love people. And the people that I keep, what have I got? 3 people I've trained in the last couple weeks.
Yes, I trained one just yesterday.
Yeah, and they go to their shifts, and I get them, and they're kids. They're young. They're so young. And I'm like, and they're so excited to work here.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, they're like, why are you so excited to work here still? I'm like, because it's awesome here. Like, everybody here is awesome.
Yeah, and you get a chance to help shape their experience at AY, which is pretty cool, too.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just awesome here.
Good. Davey, what do you think? What's the biggest
And it's
thing
nice I
you've
work
learned?
next to him, too.
Yeah.
He's not that far. Like, seriously, if I have a question, I just go over and ask him anyway.
I'd have to echo Terry's sentiments there. Like at the passing of my father, I've worked at other companies where they don't send anything to the funeral home. They don't text you to see how you're doing. They don't offer extra time off. You know, this is the rules. This is the bottom line. Follow it.
Right.
This company, when my father passed away, Chad contacted me. Take off all the time you need. Do what you got to do, because I kind of took care of my father and he all of his assets and things, and he's like, just take all the time you need, and when you're ready to come back, come back. So it's just a family atmosphere. Everybody cares about everybody. The co-workers on the floor, they come together whenever you need something. The management, I can't say enough about the management. They do anything they can to help you out here. And if you have a problem, they have an open door policy. You can go in and talk to Rob McDonald, Chad, Sully, anybody that you need to.
Right.
So, and that's what I like about it.
Good.
Yeah, I think it starts from that, like, top down of what the expectation is. Like, we treat each other with respect. There's an expectation that you help the person next to you. And I think that just kind of bleeds across the whole organization. That's cool. Do either of you have a funny story or memory? One that you can share on this podcast?
There may be little kids listening or watching, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, anything that sticks out to you, like, man, that was funny, or I can't believe that just happened.
I don't know if it's funny, but I do have one that always stuck in my mind. I came here from, a manufacturing environment, and where I worked, they expected you to go above and beyond, and we worked on an assembly line, so if you were caught up and this guy was behind, you went down and helped him to keep the assembly line moving, because that's how we made our money. And so when I started here, I was a fork truck driver, and I went back into Area 3, and I was bored. I didn't have anything to do, so I started picking parts and stuff. I'd never worked for a union before. I didn't know anything about it. So I'm picking orders, thinking I'm doing some guys some favors, you know. So next night I come in, and Henry Langkamp was my supervisor, and he's like, get over here. I'm like, what'd I do? He's like, got a grievance filed on you. And I said, what's a grievance? He's like, well, you were back in Area 3 pulling parts. I said, well, I thought I was doing him a favor. He said, I know you had good intentions, but stay out of there unless I tell you to go in there. If you're bored, go sweep the floors in the foundry aisles. I was like, okay.
Point taken. Yeah, that's good. How about you, Terry?
I have it's a pretty good story. It's true, just like Davey's. The third day I worked here, you remember Steve Rundy?
Mm-hmm.
So he used to work. He retired, but he was training me on 732. First it was shafts and shells. Sorry, this is all other. But in the first day was shafts and shells. I had no idea what I was doing. Wrote down everything. Always having to hurry up because I want to do a good job. So then the next day I went over to 732, which is yoke expanders, which is another part we make.
Right.
And he showed me how to run that. And he said, all right, just do this, this, and this. And then he left. And I'm like, he's gone. So I'm by myself now. I'm like, all right. So I I figured it out. I was doing it, you know.
Yeah.
I was real proud of myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I didn't hurt myself or nothing. I'm like, this is awesome. So then the next day I'm at the same spot. I'm like, oh, cool. I don't even need any help now. I can do this, you know, thinking I know everything. And I was just really wanting to do a good job. And anyway, so Steve comes over. He's like, oh, you look like you got it pretty good from yesterday. You're doing all right. I'm like, yeah, I got this, man. It's awesome. He's like, all right, well, you better make as many as you can because you got it. I was only making a couple parts. I thought I was doing awesome. So he's like, well, you might want to make a couple more than that. You know, and I'm like, all right. So then when he said that, then he went over to Shafts and Shells, and I stayed there, and that kind of lit a fire. I'm like, yeah, I do need to do more work. So I started hurrying up and doing all this. I'm flying. I'm just thinking I'm just going, right? I'm cooking. I am going pretty good. And I'm like, this is awesome. Got in the rhythm. You know what that's like. You get in the rhythm, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden, this whole group of guys comes up in suits and whatever, except for this one guy. He's just in a T-shirt and pants and nothing else. Everybody else all dressed up. And they're walking down the aisle, and this guy comes up and he's like, hey. I'm like, yeah. What's up? And he's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing well. Do you need something? He's like, no, I just want to make sure. How you like it here at AY? It's my third day. I love it. It's great. And I'm trying to I don't want to be rude, you know.
But you want to get
But
your
you got
parts
parts
done.
to make.
Right.
Right,
And he's
yeah.
sitting there and he's like, well, yeah, you look like you're kind of settling good and not really talking about anything at all. And I'm like, I said, listen, man, I don't want to be rude or anything. I said, but I really got to make a lot of parts. I said, I don't know what you guys got going on. I don't want to be rude, but no disrespect. I got to get back to it. He just looked at me. He's like, and looked at all the other guys, and he's like, all right, no, you get back to work. Good. That's a good thing. I didn't find out till the next, I think it was a month later. It was actually Rob.
Oh, really?
McDonald.
Oh, funny.
And I didn't know it. And,
Yeah.
and I seen him like, oh, no.
Yeah.
I was super rude to that guy.
You probably got a kick out of
Right,
it.
he
Like,
did.
okay,
He
this
did.
guy's getting down
Yeah.
to business.
Yeah, he did actually. He thought it was real funny after that.
You know,
And he teases me about it now. So.
that makes me think about, you know, one of the questions I was thinking about earlier, as far as you said, well, there's a bunch of guys walking down in suits. Well, we don't wear suits around here anymore. So
No.
that's
Right.
one of the big changes around, you know.
Yeah.
But other than that, what's the biggest changes that you've seen in your years here at AY McDonald?
The changes?
Yeah.
Safety is key around here. I've never been around that my whole life. Safety is like number one, and they really push safety here. And it's really, to me, and the time they take with these new people, they want to really show them how to do this, and they want them for life. You know, they don't want them to, here's a couple years here and then go jump to another job. They really want you to stay here.
Yeah, somebody this week just retired 42 years.
Right.
Right.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yep.
I mean, that's the biggest change to me, anyway.
And you can't say you're people focused and not have safety as your
Right.
first priority.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just saying it and you don't mean it. So
Right.
safety has to be first.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go through the motions.
What,
Yeah.
what do you think, Davey? What's the biggest thing you've seen change?
Seen a lot of changes, I guess, but as Jeff Bolander likes to say, we work smarter instead of harder.
Sure.
So I think it's much for the better, I think.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've noticed is that, I was on the union committee for a while, and the culture between the union and the company is much better. I think there's been a lot of culture change here, and since I've been here.
Good. And you mentioned Jeff Bolander, just so people out there, Jeff is our vice president of operations and been here a short time. Yeah.
But Jeff's doing a good job,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, he is. Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
So I'm a big believer in leave something better than you found it. It seems like you
Amen.
two probably have that same mindset. So when you retire from AY at some point, hopefully that's where you end your career, what do you hope is different because you were here? What do you hope to leave behind or make better?
In my work area, I'd like to be able to. I've always approached every job I've had that I want to be the best at what I do, and I want to. So I'd like to leave a good work ethic behind to the people that I've trained and that I work with, and educate them on how to troubleshoot the machines, and set them up faster, get more product out, and just like to be known as a nice guy who always addressed the issues of the people, because the people around here, a lot of people come to me with stuff they're scared to go in and talk to Rob McCullough or something,
Right.
who's our factory manager.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that.
Sure.
So they come and talk to me, and I just go in and talk to Rob, or else I could talk to Chad or whoever I have to address. They have an open door policy, and I just want to be known as a nice guy who did the best he could. And when I leave here, I want to retire and enjoy myself.
That's great.
I love that.
That's fantastic.
Go hunting deer, but not shoot them. I'm going to call it like deer observation.
I would think the DNR would look fine. You never fill your tag.
This is an expensive hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Terry?
The number one thing that I want to leave behind is to just teach these kids, not just kids, but anybody that comes in that I train or anybody I interact with, is just to literally walk in love. Because you might come in to a extreme disaster, whatever shift you're on, you might come into it. And the first thing most people want to do is blame the previous shift. And they want to say, well, look what they did. Look what they left for me. You don't know what's going on in every person's life. What happened before that shift, something could have happened. They could have got a phone call. You don't know. The number one thing that I tell everybody that I train is don't worry about what you're going to come into, but when you leave, always leave it better no matter what. Like, I don't care if you come in and it's just a disaster, because you don't walk in their shoes. You don't know what happened. They could have crashed. They could have had something bad happen. You don't know. Because I've seen it for my 10 years of being here. When you walk into a mess, that dictates the person's attitude the whole day. And I preach to these guys, don't let that get on you. Because you can't change what happened, but you can change what happens. That already happened. So when you leave them way better than you could ever even want for yourself. I mean, it's just what you do.
Sure.
Because I tell you what, I want that next person coming in, all they got to do is hit start and just relax and just start their day out. Because isn't that what you want?
Yeah.
And when it doesn't happen to you, don't get all huffy and puffy and curse the last guy, because you don't know why.
Right.
I found out in my experience, a lot of times the reason things are left the way they are is because something happened in their life or you don't know what people are going through. So I just say walk in love and just do your best and leave whatever just make it the best for somebody else. Don't repay evil with evil.
Yeah.
Repay evil with good. Otherwise, you're both wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have full control over your attitude and how you react to things. So if you can keep a focus on that, it's likely to make any situation better.
Yeah. And it's really cool when you walk in and you're training somebody and it's a disaster and they're like, oh, wow. I'm like, oh, praise God, we got to clean up. And they're like, what? What? Why are you, like, shouldn't we go tell the supervisor? I said, no, this isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
It took us 5 minutes.
Yeah.
If we went up and told the supervisor, now we're there 20 minutes.
Right.
Sure.
Now it's a bunch of other stuff.
Takes you longer to walk down to the
Right.
Take care of yourself.
Don't get me wrong. If it keeps going on, then do it. But
sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Good. Well, I think, both those comments are great sentiments to both of you and the work you do here at AY. And Kelly and I always thoroughly enjoy sitting down and talking to our coworkers and getting to know them a little bit better. It's one of the more fun podcasts that we have the opportunity to do. So, so for everybody out there, if you do have any suggestions, feel free to email them to afterhours at almost had it. After hours, it's AY After Hours. Isn't
Almost
it?
only counts in hand
All right.
grenades and horseshoes. Just saying.
Go ahead. So, if anybody has any suggestions, go ahead and send those in to ayafterhours at aymcdonald.com or follow our socials. Thanks much.